Hello, 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 hello.
Hey,
Eurovoxx here. My name is Dominic and I'm joined by Jess from the UK. Hey.
hello.
And we've got a winner finally for Melody Grand Prix. And yes, we have scheduled this live stream later, but I decided, hey, I don't care about the numbers or the times I have scheduled. Let's just announce the winner. So the winner is, Jess, help me.
It's Alessandra with Queen of Kings. King of
Yes,
Queens?
one of
Queen of Kings?
Queen of the Kings. So one of the biggest favorites has
Yeah,
actually done it, and I think like the she definitely won the jury vote and also the televote or like the app voting, I would say.
yeah.
I don't have the number for the voting for the televote. Have you got that? Do you know how many
Um,
points she has got?
no, but I can find out for you.
Yeah, maybe do that. In the meantime, I must say that it was kind of obvious, but also kind of not, because I think MGP
Mm-hmm.
was so strong. It was such a strong selection. I mean, I can't. I'm still very excited, as you can tell. But then it was pretty obvious, I think, after the jury vote, because she had 104 points. She was in the lead by 10 points. Atle was second with
Yeah,
94 points, and then there was already a big margin because Ulrikke, considered as the second big favorite of MGP, only got 60 points. So then I was already like, I'm not sure if she can actually make it. And in fact, she didn't, but at least she was second in the televote and she managed the second place overall, which is sad because I would have loved to see her. But anyhow, let's go to Alessandra. What do you think about her as the winner?
well, she was my winner of Melody Grand Prix final this year, so I'm very happy that my winner's finally won. But after watching her performance, I think it was very obvious for a lot of people that she was going to be a big contender to win because she gave an incredible performance in tonight's live show. And in my opinion, she just blew the competition away. The staging, as we already saw in the semi final, it's just incredible. Her vocals are insane and everything just kind of was screaming Eurovision, at least to me anyway. So I'm not surprised that she's won because I think her and the song and the performance definitely deserved it.
Mm. I must say though, kind of every performance was screaming Eurovision to me. I think the whole show was pretty Eurovision-like,
Yeah.
but I can totally see your point. So before I give my opinion to it, let's say hello to Klaus, who's actually doing multitasking, watching us, and also Supernova from Latvia, which is so cool. Hello, AM Rifki. With that, I try to say what you have written. Tusen takk til deg, Norge og gratulerer til Alessandra. You're welcome. And Ray Bailey, hey, nice to see you as well. So you're very pleased with the result. So I must say, like, the running order really put her in a very good spot. So she was the last
Hmm.
one, even though we only had 9 songs in the running. So you could argue that it's not that important, but still being last, I think it's always an advantage. Second, there was a big hype around her already. She was like the first one performing in the first semifinal, so she opened
Yeah.
the whole thing. And the moment she did that, her streaming numbers on Spotify and YouTube and pretty much every platform has been very huge and massive. I think I have read like she's like number one in global Spotify streams at the moment.
Yeah. I've seen.
Worldwide, not just Norway, worldwide. It's crazy. And I think the last time we had that was with Rosalind after Eurovision. And she already has
Yeah.
the same now before Eurovision. I think that's a big advantage if she can keep that. About the song, I like the start. It's very epic. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I like this angelic voice, whatever that is, choir kind of. That's cool. I also like the verses. I must say though, I'm not the biggest fan of the chorus. I think it's too repetitive to some
Okay.
degree. And even though she's hitting the notes pretty well, even though keep in mind it's auto-tune a bit, but still, she did a good job in that regards. I'm not the biggest fan of her voice tone. It's something which is not for me.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah, it's very deep, and sometimes I really like that when a woman has a deeper
Hmm.
voice. but somehow it's not for me. But in terms of like the popularity, I must say she did a very good job because she was a favorite for so many other fans, and the reception also in the arena was pretty big.
Oh yeah, that
And
was pretty telling.
props to her, she really nailed this high note in the end. That was really hard. I think she was together with Skrellex, the only ones with these high notes. So that was pretty cool. And Ulrikke, of course, but that was like on
Of
another
course.
pitch level. So that was also a moment. About the overall show, I must say that she has had some changes. Other performances
Hmm.
were pretty much like literally the same, just on a bigger stage, because during the semifinals we had smaller ones. But she had some changes. For example, her dress was different, I think, and also she had some tiny, which was too tiny, I would say, a crown on her head.
Yeah,
that,
I
that
noticed
was,
that.
yeah, that was a bit like, well, then go for it. If you really want to have a crown, make it bigger, at least for my taste. And also, I think they have changed some parts with the instrumental. At least I felt that way, that there were
Okay.
some slight changes. I think they already did a revamp. Maybe I was wrong, or maybe I'm talking about the
Uh,
wrong song, but I
yeah, I
had the
don't think
feeling.
I heard any difference, but
I thought in the beginning it was different, but maybe I just had a different memory about the song. I don't know. But I think the vocal performance was better in the semifinal. I don't know. Because it
hmm.
was like she was trying to do it too perfectly. And I think she did it very,
Uh-huh.
very good, but it was a bit too forced, in my opinion. And she was maybe too concentrated on, can I hit the high note in the end? I mean, I had the feeling that this was the concentration and that was like the focus, and I think she really did that pretty well. So she did everything right. She won everything. So who am I to complain, you know?
Well, it worked well in the end, so
Definitely, definitely. And this was your favorite, so you must be very happy, I guess.
of
Um,
course.
it wasn't my favorite, to be honest. My favorite was Elsie Bay.
Hmm.
She finished, I think, like fourth.
Yeah, so she was fourth with 83 points.
83 points. And she was also fourth of the jury. I think the televote was lower, was pretty
Yeah,
weak.
televote was only 34 points, which
I w
I actually thought she would have done much better because she had a good song and a great staging, and it
yeah,
was really one of the standouts for me.
definitely. But I was expecting like a bit more in terms of the televote. I was disappointed. But I think we shouldn't go to Elsie right now. We should stay at Alessandra for now because we have so many comments about it. So let's maybe just show them. Hello, Joanne Johnson, first of all. Nice to see you. Great Saying has won. That's your opinion. Hello, Sarah. I was missing you already. Kisses for Alessandra. Aw. And also, Peter is mentioning that it's a very, very big victory. 283 points ahead of 138.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that's
wow. Okay.
impressive.
Yes, that's very impressive, and I think that's one of the biggest victories we have seen so far, I would say. Can you remember a time where there was a bigger discrepancy?
I mean, I don't know if it was bigger, but I know in going way back to 2009, I'm pretty sure that Alexander Rybak landslided
Mm,
MGP that year.
yeah,
That's
but
probably like the biggest one I can remember.
yeah, but if we go back to 2009, which is like 14 years ago, I think that
I
says a lot,
know.
doesn't it? Hello, Latvian. So we've got two Latvians here. Ha!
Oh,
And um, oh, hail the Queen of the Kings. Oh, yes. But I'm not gonna miss the ones who are not that pleased about the result. Because, for example, Iscram56 is saying like Ulrike should have won. And I agree with that, to be honest. Like, she was also one of my
okay.
favorites. Like, Elsie, Ulrike, and I had a weak spot for Skrellex. That was such a bop. I love that. But I already knew that she's gonna flop,
Yeah.
especially in the jury. Like, we knew that. But it was so great to see her in the final. So that was already a victory, kind of.
Yeah,
So,
I was so happy that she made it to the final and she got the
yes.
chance to showcase herself and her song again.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the audience reaction was perfect. They were so into it. I loved it. So, who else? We have some like Bubble Pirate is saying that Ava Max would do it better than Alessandra. Well, we don't know that. I don't consider Ava Max as a very strong vocalist, to be honest. I think she has good songs, but
Mm,
she's not famous because of her such like it's fine, it's decent, but I
yeah.
think like the songs itself and the whole performance is making her famous, and so I don't really agree with that comment. So Helen has a wonderful comment or idea. Ulrike and Alessandra should have gone to Liverpool together. I'm so sad for Ulrike.
Me
Based on the whole
too.
story, like they in the postcard, they were really mentioning that with 2020 and how disappointed she was. And I think they even showed like how she reacted to the cancellation of the contest when she cried. That was like, oh, I can't. That was too much. And now she's second.
I
Like,
know.
ah.
After watching that postcard, you can clearly see just how much Eurovision means to Ulrika.
Yeah.
And I feel like I would have loved for her to have won just so that
Hmm.
she could get the chance to represent her country at Eurovision, not necessarily for the song to win. As
Hmm.
much as I love Honestly, and I
Yeah.
do think it's a good song and she performed it incredibly well, it is maybe a bit cliche in some parts and maybe not the strongest song and a bit cheesy in places.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that Attention was the better song.
Hmm.
But honestly, it's also pretty good. So we are complaining here on a very high level, obviously. So Danny is very pleased about Alessandra. Well done, Norway. You did your job.
I agree.
um, Levindy is saying like this is a contest, only one winner. No, so you're not for Sarah's suggestion. Steve saying that this might be like a very good result for Norway. I'm going to ask you for the prediction later on. Usually I do that during the end. Because let's just stay at MGP right now and talk about the whole show, and then later on go to Eurovision, you know. So I think that's kind of it. I've seen some fans about JONE. So Bubble Pirate is saying JONE should have won. So JONE was also very popular. Oh, I
I'm
can
so
see
sad
some.
for you, Yona,
Ah,
Yuna.
JONE.
I love his song so much. Loved his performance in the final and the semi-final. And
Yeah.
even though I knew it was obvious that he would never win, I still wanted to have a little bit of hope that he could pull a surprise win out of nowhere because the song is a bop and it came across very well on stage, I think, and it
Yeah.
was a great show opener.
Yeah, so the running order was like he was in the beginning two times at the semifinal and the final. I'm not sure if he was so happy about it, to be fair. What about Down is like the only real Norwegian song, which is good. The dancing is still not his thing. And I think they did it very clever, having the backing dancers, a lot of light, very tight camera angles, so you can't really tell. But if you really take notice, the dancing is it's not for him. Stay to the keep singing. That's the focus, I would say. And also like some, and that was obviously not his fault. Some camera angles were off, I think, because there was one shot from the whole arena three times where it
Hmm.
really didn't fit at all. So I'm pretty sure that was a mistake
Yeah,
by the
I
producers or
noticed that.
something. Yeah, but it wasn't that distracting, which is something I mentioned. Or recognize. Okay, maybe like go back to Alessandra. There was one comment I wanted to show. Um, here, there, this one. I think they made a good choice about Alessandra. She has an excellent chance compared to most other contestants when it goes to Eurovision, even though it was a very strong final. We can agree on that.
Oh
So
yeah, sure.
diverse, so strong, MGP as you know it
Yeah,
and as you love it. That's why this is one of my favorite competition and
and
national finals. Yeah.
like there were so many songs from the final that could have won and done very well at Eurovision.
Yeah, I would like maybe five. I could see as
Mm.
like Eurovision contender and like would have qualified, in my opinion. And Alessandra is one of them. Don't get me wrong, even though I'm not like the biggest fan of the song, I still think she's going to qualify. But also others, I would say, would have been a good choice. And that's like the advantage. It's not like you have just one strong and everyone's begging like, please, I hope this one wins. And if not, the country is in the struggle to even qualify, it's
Yeah.
always like talking about on a very high level. Um, Patrick is saying that the performance will look great on stage in Liverpool with all the lights. So even though the staging was very impressive and also the arena and everything was good and high produced as you are used to when it
Yeah.
comes to Norway, it's always high quality. It's still they probably have more options and more opportunities in Liverpool. It's like of course the biggest probably the biggest one out of the selection, and they will definitely nail that as well. Bubble Pirate, I have the feeling you're not the biggest fan of Alessandra, says that it needs an awesome outfit for Liverpool, a better one. So, which outfit from Alessandra do you prefer? The one from the semi-final or the one from the
Hmm.
final?
I would probably go for the semi-final one, just because I feel like less is more.
Less is more. Usually I say more is more, but like literally. But I agree with you on this in this regard. I have preferred like the semi-final one. Maybe because you just got used to it, and this is considered as the
Hmm.
standard, and the other one is the new one. I think that's something like I have recognized a few times that if you go back like after 2 or 3 weeks, you're always like, no, I prefer the final version.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just an influence. You got so we've got a comment from Noah. I am from Norway and I'm at least satisfied. More dancing and better staging seems like a top 10. Since I was expecting the jury to take it down a bit and win with the jury, so seems like a
Hmm.
top 19, probably top 10 is what is meant here. I agree. I wasn't
Me
expecting the
too.
jury win. So I was pretty sure because of the hype that the televote is going to be massive, and yeah, here we are. But the jury, I was a bit surprised because even like in the beginning, it looked like she would be like getting like 12 from every country. But because I think there were 10 jury members and you can
Yeah.
get 12 points max. So 120 was the maximum amount you can get there. And she got 104. So that's still pretty good. And Czech Republic gave it only 2. So that was
Yeah.
already like 10 down. So she was almost at the maximum amount she could have gotten. Atle was second. Maybe let's go to the other contestants now. Atle was second with 94 points in the jury vote. That was pretty high, and
Hmm.
he beat Ulrikke with a big margin. I was
Yeah.
surprised. I was expecting Ulrikke to be much higher, maybe even win the jury vote. She only got third.
Mm,
So were you expecting Atle to be second in the jury and be very low with the televote? He only got 28 points
I
there.
know that was a bit of a
Mm,
shocker. I thought, I mean, the song sounded very kind of Norwegian, very Melody Grand Prix,
yeah.
and the staging I think was one of the best stagings of tonight. The song, however, I don't think was the strongest song, but it seemed like the type of song that kind of Norway would vote for, that they would feel familiar with and that they would like. And so seeing it kind of do very well with the juries was no surprise to me, because the song and the performance comes across as very jury friendly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I did think, given Adley's kind of popularity, that the televote would be higher than what it was. But I guess ultimately the song, was not the strongest song in the contest. So that could be the reason why it got a low televote score.
Mm. So Philomena Kang EC says that flopping was shocking. I think he finished like third or fourth. Is that a flop? Probably not.
I
You
mean, he
probably
still made it into the top three
yes. Plus
overall, which
y-
is good, I guess, in a way.
yes, definitely. Like we have so many comments about Ulrike, so maybe let's go to her because she was second by far with the televote with 78 points there and 60 from the jury, some more here. And she finished second. So would you have preferred or at least like be as happy as you are now with Ulrike's victory?
Oh yeah, for sure. As I said before, I do like Honestly as a song, and Ulrika as a singer is amazing in my opinion. And I would have been happy to see this go to Eurovision. I think it would have made a great representative for Norway in it. And definitely I think it could have qualified and got a decent result in the final. So I would
Mm,
have been happy to see this go to Eurovision, and happy for Ulrikke to get her Eurovision moment as well.
Yeah.
And I did, predict that this could potentially win MGP, and I thought it's probably going to be between Ulrikke and maybe Atle, or Ulrikke and Alessandra. So I'm not surprised that she didn't win, because I think Alessandra had the better overall package.
It's Eurovision Song Contest, but it's not just about the song. We need to keep remembering that. So it's about the whole package. And the staging was way more simpler, but it fitted the song. And her vocals are on point as always. I just
Yeah.
love her voice. She's so like perfectly. Like she's not just saying something, like she's not hitting the notes, but she's hitting the notes like perfectly, like really on point. There's no doubt she's gonna hit these. I must say though, also prefer the semi-final performance because I had the feeling she was very nervous and very like, on the edge. And then I'm not sure if that was intentional, but she wasn't singing every note. She was missing some notes in terms of not
Yeah.
hitting them, but not just singing them. She was just preparing for the very big high notes. And I mean, if you do that in a way no one noticed, that's fine. But it was a bit distracting that the backing vocals were still there and she was not singing. That was a bit like maybe you should do or like take a break or a little pause
Yeah.
when you don't have these backing vocals, because then everyone notices, or like some will notice, well, you were supposed to sing here, but you don't. That was just a tiny bit
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah. Okay. So another one from Noah saying that Ulrikke was overhyped with the bubble, but I think MGP was forgettable, but the bubble just had too high expectation. I don't think so, honestly. Um, yeah, I think it was great. She would have won
Yeah.
in other selections easily,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
no doubt. And I think the expectations were high. She came second. I mean, we can't say she was flopping. She wasn't. And I think she can be very proud. And also, I think she's gonna be back at some point, and I
Oh,
think she's
yeah.
gonna win MGP again. She's already a winner.
Oh, yeah. We
Yeah, we
will
should.
definitely see Ulrikke at Eurovision at
Yeah,
some point in the future.
there's another comment from Pokicha Ivanova. Hello. Ulrike's song was over-engineered to fit the perfect Eurovision picture, and this didn't work. Like, it was too perfect, too maybe
Mm,
Disney-like, because
I
it could
mean,
have been like the end song of a Disney movie, can't it? Like,
I mean, I could be wrong, but I think, with honesty, I think maybe they were trying a bit too hard to make it sound like the perfect Eurovision song. And there was
hmm,
a lot of kind of typical Eurovision cliches in the song, and I feel like they maybe did that a bit too much, just to
yeah,
really try and get it to win MGP and go to Eurovision.
yeah,
But if they
definitely.
just maybe toned it down a little bit, it could have
Hmm.
potentially beaten Alessandra.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't the best idea to make her standing in the same place the whole time, because it
Mm,
made it a bit stiff, even though like it's so hard to sing this song so perfectly. So maybe it was just to focus on that. And if she would have moved, the sound wouldn't have been as perfect as it
mm.
was. And also we have another statement, which I want a comment from you. If there was no autotune, Ulrike would have won, I think. Do you agree with that?
Um, no,
Why
because
not?
I don't. I mean, obviously, I know that Ulrika didn't use autotune, but
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone else or most other people did. But I honestly don't think it would have really made a difference, because it's not just about the vocals, it's also the song and the whole live performance and any kind of choreography and the staging that also plays a part in it as well. So even if there wasn't auto tune, yeah, I think some of the acts maybe would have struggled a little bit more than others, but I don't think it would have really had that much of an impact on the final results.
Yeah. Fully agree with you. Anything else about Ulrike? Mm, she will come
She
back,
did
please.
good.
Don't
She had a
don't
good
don't lose
song.
hope. I just have the feeling that I want to hug her and say it's fine.
Oh,
You did so well. You know, she's just a nice person. You can really tell from everything she's doing. So I'm a very big fan of her. Um, Interesting comment. Philomena Kang, she says Ulrike and Swing It didn't use
hmm
autotune. Um, yeah, I wasn't. Swing It weren't my favorites, so I wasn't really paying attention to that.
mm,
But they were pretty good in the televote. Maybe
yeah,
just like they were last with the jury with only 8 points. Kind of, I have to say, it was kind of expected. Uh, but they were like 43 points, which was like
mm.
wow. They were they were they were third in the televote with 43
See,
points. So here we go.
I
Impressive.
actually thought they would do better with the jury vote, actually, because I could
Mm,
see this style of song and the staging they had being
yeah.
very jury friendly. And I didn't
Mm,
see the Norwegian public really kind of getting behind this very much. So I
yeah.
was quite pleasantly surprised to see that kind of switched around.
Mm-hmm. Sarah Helen is asking, what is autotune? And like, luckily we've got very nice
Yeah.
commentators. It's literally changing, or like not changing, but improving the voice. But not,
Yeah.
it's not
So,
playback, so you still need to sing. That's the
I mean,
main
essentially, it's
difference.
some kind of technology that picks up on any kind of bad notes or kind of, wrong notes, and it essentially just tunes them to turn them right so that they sound good rather than bad.
Yeah. Definitely. So it's like making you sing better, but it's like when you totally miss the note, it can't really save you
Mm.
because we have still heard bum notes, not as many, but some of them are still off. So autotune can't really save you; it just improves you, and there needs to be some kind of level and ground, and then you can improve it. If there's like nothing, you can't improve it. I'm always like 2 times 0 is still 0, you know?
Yeah.
Um, that's just how it is. So Leah is saying, I feel like maybe Ulrike's song was too perfect in a way. It was always on the ballad. Violence, wind, it's sad. I wanted her to win so bad. Yeah, it's typical Eurovision, but it's literally a contest for Eurovision. So
Well,
if she's
yeah.
so yeah, you can argue
Although
with
I
that as
think,
well.
like,
Yeah,
when you compare honestly to attention seemed more raw and more kind of personal,
yeah.
whereas honestly kind of felt more like Eurovision-y and like
Hmm.
kind of Eurovision cliche. Maybe that's why it didn't do as well.
Yeah, true. ESC Manga is referring to Alessandra again, that the song is very good. It's a good choice, and it can be like top 10. Sorry for Ulrike, there you go. I hope it will be she will be back in MGP. And yeah, maybe like next year or 2025. You have heard it here first. She will be back, I hope. Um, Gabriele, hello, is saying that the choosing Alexander was the best choice. The song, theme, costume, dances, lightning, everything was well fitted and felt the original like. So it's like the whole package. I would argue that
Yeah.
Alessandra was really going for this "I'm the Queen" theme, and not just about the song itself, but also like very confident, very I don't want to say dominant, but you know what I mean, like leading.
Yeah.
And like I'm the center of attention, and the other ones are just supporting me because I'm the queen. I agree with that. So that was well done by her, even though others would say like they will dance better. So dancing weren't they were the biggest fan of the dance.
I
Um,
thought the dancing was good.
like we've seen worse.
Yeah.
I I think Jonas is the best dancer, and I think he knows it, so he will forgive me. And also like Umami Tsunami, I don't know, it's a bit strange how they done. It's like early 2000s, which I love. I'm a sucker for that. So,
Me
but
too.
it's like I don't know, a bit like dated, but in a good way. That's
Yeah.
what I would say. Yeah, definitely. Gabriela is also like agreeing with me, which is nice. Um, Noah, I think, can have a very good staging show. Yes, with pyro, more
Oh,
dancing, and
yes.
with higher budget. Yes, keep in mind, Eurovision is such a big show, and even though MGP is big for Norway, ESC is for literally the whole world, basically. So there's so much more potential here. That's so good to see.
And I
Um,
think, in my opinion, her performance in MGP is already really good. So
yeah.
then it obviously does make you wonder how much more they can elevate it for the Eurovision stage. And it gets me really excited to think of all the possibilities they could achieve with this song and the staging.
Hmm.
And even though we only have only a few songs chosen already, I do think this could do very well for Norway.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that she's gonna be in the first place position for a lot of fans right now. Like
Hmm.
I think we've got like 7 songs now, six, six. Like Slovenia has published it, then we've got Norway, and we will have Spain later on, and
Yeah,
then Ireland, Albania, Ukraine,
Belgium.
Belgium. I think that's 7, right? Yeah. Okay, so they also was saying something like they can't have pyro because it would have been too expensive. Norway
Hmm.
has got money.
I
If
mean,
Norway can't afford it, who can afford it?
if you look at MGP, it's obvious they have money.
Yes, it's Norway. Remember?
They can find it
Uh,
somewhere anyway.
yes. Luckily, Ulrikke said she will keep trying until she wins. Yes, that's the spirit. That's how we like it. They didn't have the budget MGP.
Ah, okay.
Okay. Maybe for
Maybe
MGP.
they're saving their money for a big, huge, massive, epic performance at Eurovision that's going to
Yes.
blow everyone's minds.
I see. Norway has money and
Hmm.
NRK doesn't. Good. Good point. Good point. So, Sarah is dreaming about Alessandra. Are you gonna dream about Alessandra tonight?
I mean, I'm probably going to have her song stuck in my head for the rest of the night,
We take that.
um, because it's definitely an earworm, but in a good way.
Hmm. Okay, very cool. One more performance I would like to talk about before we go into the Eurovision route, like how she's gonna do there. I would like to mention like Elsie Bay again because she finished pretty high. I think she was like fifth or fourth, so she wasn't totally flopping. But she wasn't
Yeah,
a contender to win either, which is sad because she has so much potential. I'm a big fan of her, and I think she had the best staging of tonight. Do you agree with that? It was so
yeah.
impressive and that had so much effect, even though it was pretty simple. Chandelier dances, fog, that's
But I
it.
mean, the staging that she had suited the song so perfectly,
Yes.
and it was like a match made in heaven. And
Mm,
then when you kind of add her, beautiful vocals on top of that, it really was quite captivating to watch. But the song maybe was a little bit forgettable for some people, perhaps, which is maybe why
mm.
it didn't do as well as people were hoping.
Yeah, true. Um, People were also a bit surprised that she was only
Mm,
fourth in the jury vote because I would have uh, said, and in the end, that was actually the case, that she would have been higher with the jury than in the televote. So we were talking about 49 jury votes and then 34 televotes. But still, it was like on a low basis. I was thinking that she would be like a contender to maybe even win the jury vote or be
mm,
at least top three. So I was a bit disappointed here. But I think the performance was better than in the semifinal because she was a bit shaky there in terms of her vocals, and she definitely improved. So that's good. Um, yeah, so maybe some more comments about it. Sarah wants to say like maybe there will be
mhm.
Elsie Bay or Halloran. I love your
That has a
creativity.
nice ring to it.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So Gabriel is saying like beautiful song, different because like the rhythm or the pace was like
Mm.
a waltzer, you know. So it wasn't like a typical rhythm. That was good. Maybe too calm. I mean, calm after the storm was second. Just saying.
True.
So now we go to the Eurovision part. Um, what is your prediction? So we agree that she's definitely going to qualify.
Oh
She's in the
yeah,
first semi-final with a lot of neighbors, Finland, Sweden. I think she will be fine, even though
yeah,
she's in the first half. Do you think she's going to be a potential opener?
yeah. I think she will definitely be a contender to open. the semi-final, but I don't think where she performs is really going to have an impact, because obviously it's a televote only semi-final, and this is exactly the type of song and performance that televoters will love. So I think it's 100% certain that she's going to qualify to the final. If she gives a performance anything like what we saw in MGP, then 100% she'll qualify. And then I actually do think she could make the top 10 in the final.
Which would be like a good track, because subwoofers were top 10 as well. I think they finished 10th, so
Yeah.
I see the potential in it, even though like I'm not personally that biggest fan of the song. I can appreciate it and see the appeal to it and the potential it has got like on for the stage and also for the European audience for sure. So yeah, top 10 is pretty realistic. About the winning potential, because many are calling it as a potential winner, I'm not too sure, even though it's like hard to say with only 7 or 6 songs. I don't see this as a winner.
I mean, I could, even though we only have a few songs,
Yeah.
could maybe be potentially a televote winner, perhaps.
Yeah. But is
then
it like,
again,
yeah.
Seeing it win the jury vote in MGP is now making me think, actually, could it appeal a lot to the Eurovision juries as well?
Yeah. Yeah, because when you think about juries, it's mainly like, okay, they always go for ballad and vocals, and every pop
Yeah.
song is dropping down, and that's not the case. Definitely. We have seen it for so many times that they're also going for these kind of songs, so it has potential here. Iskam is saying that it's like a good copy of One to the Hills from Kleiner Hammerstrom, which was a Melody Festival last year. Do you prefer One to the Hills or Alessandra's song, Queen of the Kings?
Haven't actually heard the other song.
Oh, okay.
So I've heard
It's,
of it, but not actually heard the song or seen the performance.
I can definitely see the comparison, because I was saying that and doing the semi-final as well. It kind of sounds like Clara's song from last year. Yeah, I was
Okay.
covering Melody Festival as well. That's why I'm pretty well known about the final songs. It was actually the opener, and she was a favorite, but in the end she were like mid-table, and weren't even close to winning. I prefer One to the Hills, but I can see the comparison. It has like a similar rhythm, and the build-up is also kind of the same. It's not like too close. It's definitely different enough to be considered as two different songs. But yeah, it kind of goes into the same route, definitely. Um, Leah is saying that she's moving to Norway next year, so please win so they can host it again. Aha.
Don't win, only because you're very expensive, Norway.
Ah.
And
No,
my
if
bank balance is still recovering from Eurovision 2010.
I don't like this argument, because like UK is also very expensive. I mean,
Well, that's
well,
true.
not for you in terms of the hotel costs, maybe. Yeah, and there's an offer like Leah wants to go there together. So yeah, get in contact. You're welcome. You get the bill later on. Um, so Clips is a bit more negative about it. Like she's not gonna win for sure. Yeah. So do you expect massive changes? That's another question I wanted to ask
Mm,
before we go to the show, because there were a special event at MGP, and you know what I'm referring to.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you expect a lot of changes, or do you think it's going to be more or
Um,
less the same?
Personally, I don't think they need to make a lot of changes,
Mm,
because the performance they have now is already very good, in my opinion, in terms of the choreography and the outfits and the whole color scheme going on. I just think if they maybe fine-tuned it a little bit and polished it up in places,
yeah.
and if they found the money for pyro, that would be great. Um, but overall, I don't expect there to be huge changes made, and I
Mm,
don't think there needs to be either. I reckon it will be pretty similar to MGP.
yeah. Um, I also think there are only going to be slight changes, but not the whole concept. It's going to be pretty much the same. And I also have the feeling that Norway, as well as Sweden, usually like we have this national final performance and just deliver that on the big
Hmm.
stage. Usually they're not big changes. Like if we go back to Tix or Subwoofers, there weren't any changes, or maybe
Yeah.
just slight changes. So it's more or less what you can expect. Which brings us to subwoofers. Oh, there are actually humans under these masks. Who would have thought that? They actually revealed themselves. So they performed. Haters would say it was playback. And then it's like, in the end, they actually did. Like, who am I? Who am I? They were singing, give the wolf a banana, but with the lyrics, who am I? Teasing us the whole time. And I was like, no, they're just pretending to reveal themselves.
Mm.
But in the end, they did. And I was surprised about that. Ben Adams and Gothe Ormesen were the names. And I've read the name Ben Adams quite a lot, so it was
Yeah.
like an open secret. Do you know Ben and Adams?
Yeah, he's a British singer, and he was in a
Ha.
band called A1, who actually
Mm-hmm.
participated in MGP in 2010 because
There
one of
we
the
go.
members of the band is Norwegian. And
Mm-hmm.
so, pretty much straight away from when they were chosen last year, I could recognize Ben Adams' voice, even though I couldn't 100% confirm it because I'd never seen his subwoofer character without the outfit on.
Mm.
But it was pretty obvious that it was his voice.
Yeah.
But as for the other member, Gaute, I think, I've
Gauté
never heard of
Ormesen.
him before. So,
Okay.
yeah, I would never have guessed him.
No, was like expected. Well, afterwards you can always say it. Like I knew it from the beginning.
Mm,
Yeah, I don't know them to be honest, but I liked it that they showed it, but
yeah,
like kept us so excited for a whole year. So it's not like
yeah,
they did it during the Eurovision final. I think that was a good moment because it's like, okay, this chapter is
yeah.
closed, and now let's go to the next winner, which is Alessandra. I
So
like that.
then, I presume then, like, does this mean the end of Subwoofer, or will
Good
they
question.
carry on as without the masks, or just carry on even though we know them?
Yeah, what do you think? Do you expect other singles from them?
Hmm.
Do you know
Yeah,
another
maybe.
single besides the banana one?
No,
Mm-hmm. I
no.
think that says a lot, so I don't think they're gonna continue. And I remember that you were a big fan of the Wolfers, of the
Yes.
Bananis. So yeah, I think we are about to close this because I think we have covered pretty much more or less everything. Do you want to mention, like, have an honorable mention?
Um, Yona was robbed.
Robbed.
That's all I have
Yeah,
to say.
yeah.
But no,
I mean, yeah,
I mean, it was a great show, and it was a very strong lineup.
yeah.
And so ultimately, not everybody can win, not everybody can be in the top three. And ultimately, some acts had to kind of, be near the bottom. And
Mm.
that's the price you pay for having such a strong lineup.
Yeah, keep in mind here that you can only vote for one. You weren't
Yeah.
able to vote for several ones, or like the same artist several times, if you have just one smartphone, because if you have several smartphones, you could have cheated a
Yeah.
bit. But I don't think the difference would have been that much. One last question, because my name was written there. Can you please explain unser Lied, Tim TikTok vote result? Yeah, so there were like 8 finalists already for Germany, and then they did a TikTok voting because Germany wants to be like NDR, which is the broadcasting channel and responsible for this selection. And they were like saying like, "Wow, we're so modern now. Like, so let's introduce a TikTok wildcard voting." And there were like 6 or 7, I can't remember in detail, but like 6 or 7 songs in the running. You were able to vote for them, but only on TikTok. And then like tonight, they have revealed the winner of that. So this is like the last finalist of the show, which is gonna take place 4th of March. So it's like a month away, month ahead of us. And it's actually Ike Hufgold, which is a singer from the Ballermann region. Do you know Mallorca?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, yeah, I don't know what to say about it. It's totally not my thing. It's personally, it's awful. I hate it. It's like party music, which is like very popular here in Germany. They they're actually very high. This kind of music is very high in the charts for like 1 or 2 years. It's usually like in German, and this song is in German, and it kind of sounds the same. If you compare these kind of songs all together, it has a very similar sound. So truly hope, I'm not going to choose them, but I'm confident because it's going to be half jury and half televote, and I'm pretty sure certain he's going to win the televote easy, but the jury is going to
Ooh.
prevent a victory. And if he's going to win, I see another Electric Velvet Cry Baby
Oh
mix.
no.
Yes, so if they literally going to send this, it's going to be last place position for sure. I'm certain. I could bet for
My
that. So
condolences.
so I hope that's not going to happen because Germany's reputation at Eurovision isn't the best one for now. One side note, one of the one of the artists from the wildcard voting was in my class. Like when I
Oh,
was in school, he was part of my class when I was in the 10th grade, like Michi. That was funny because he was
that's
already
so
a
cool.
participant. Yeah, so cool. He was already a participant in The Voice a few years ago, and he still keep doing TikTok a lot and Instagram and stuff. And he's still singing, and it was nice to see him at least for this wildcard voting, even though it was very obvious he's not going to win because of Gold.
Hmm.
Here we are. Maybe he should try it again. So I think, like we talked about it for 46 minutes, I think.
Yep.
Time to wrap it up. Just thank you so much. It was a
Thank
lovely
you.
conversation. You're welcome, and see you again next time. Bye.
Bye.